Well, it's according to my watch, it's 6 o'clock, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. Good evening. Welcome to the Newfane Selectboard meeting. I apologize I'm not there in person, but here we are. It's Monday, October 21st. We have myself, Angela Litchfield, and Ann Golob on Zoom. We have Katie Johnson-Aplin and Jeff Chevalier at the table. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Has the meeting properly been warned?
Yes.
Thank you. Are there any additions or amendments to the agenda?
I'd like to add the minutes from the Board of Liquor Control and the Cannabis Control Commission from 10/17 as well.
Thank you.
Wait, not 10/17.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. We'll put those on there. Anything else? Hearing none, we'll go right to the approval of the minutes. We'll start first with the October 7th regular meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion.
Thank you, Katie. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jeff. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain? Ayes have it. Now we'll go to the Board of Liquor Control meeting minutes that it was on October 7th. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Thank you, Jeff.
Second.
Thank you, Ann. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain? Ayes have it. And now to the Cannabis Control Commission minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion.
I
Thank you,
second.
Kate. Thank you, Ann. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, abstain, ayes have it. Moving right along, we'll go to the Road Foreman and Commissioners report. Good evening, Jay. Welcome. Glad to have you.
The box culvert on Depot Road is completed and the plantings and cleanup were accepted by the state. The lines on the pavement were completed on Loop Road and on the new pavement. The covered bridge warning ideas that anyone had, I just put that on there to bring it up again. The boat from Stratton Hill. And I've been going to South Wardsboro Road, Cushing Flats, and Vic Benjamin Roads to get the Green Mountain Power work completed. They still have quite a bit to make it satisfactory, and hopefully they've been agreeable so far, but just the idea you have to keep going up and following up. We have an offer on the old chloride truck, and we had a meeting with MSK for the gravel pit, and they're planning on getting the Act 250 paperwork submitted around Thanksgiving. I think that was a good meeting the other day. Ann was on with me, and it kind of gave us a rundown of where they are. And that's it.
Is there a motion to approve the Road Commissioner and Foreman's report?
I make a motion.
I second.
Katie and Ann, thank you. All right, let's have some discussion. Anything for number one?
Looks good.
Number two, that culvert looks amazing, and all the work that was done looks really good. Anything on number three? Does anybody have any ideas? I sent out a funny one that said, if you hit this sign, you're going to hit the bridge. But that was just a joke. So I don't know if anybody has any like serious.
We had talked about hanging something over the road that they would hit, or the only thing I thought of is the people on Mare Road and that house on the left. If they have deliveries and stuff, it almost would have to be past their house in order to not affect deliveries and stuff coming to their place.
Right.
It's just unbelievable in this day and age that folks driving truck don't realize
The state did offer up someone, I can't recall the name right at the moment, but I can find it, that would redesign our signage for it and the placement of it. I don't know if that would make a difference or not. I mean, one thing is a lot of our covered bridge signs are painted signs instead of reflective signs. So at night, they're not going to stand out as well. I don't know if it's worth having them come up with a plan that it brings the signage up to their current standards or not.
There
Anyone
would be
else have
no
any-
harm in doing that. It might not be sufficient, but it feels like at least a first step.
Would a bar that just goes over half the road, kind of like, what kind of screwdriver is that? That's the octagon or the hexagon that's an angle.
Oh, like an Allen key?
Like an Allen key, but a bar, the
Okay.
hanging clang thing. Then deliveries could still get to those two places, but also stop the average truck that's coming through there.
Bet you $10 a truck goes
I'm
around
sure.
that thing and
I
hits
mean-
the bridge.
I don't know. I could get a hold of that guy from VTrans and then see what else other than signs he could suggest to us. It would be really nice if they didn't get all the way down to the bridge, but unless you can get them to realize that sign really means, it's not meant for a truck, then they're still going to keep doing it.
Exactly.
So coming from Dover, the last sign is all the way in South Newfane. There isn't another one when you're almost to the bridge or even at all.
I believe there is one as you get closer to the bridge.
I'm gonna put you on speakerphone.
Yeah, I think there's
Oh.
one right at the bridge.
Yeah, I'll talk with that person and get them to come up with a plan for us, and then we can decide what else we want to try and see if they have other ideas too.
My personal opinion is that's probably the best way to start.
Okay.
How does the rest of the board feel?
It's definitely a start. It wouldn't hurt to
I
have the
gotta
right
say-
signage, reflective signs and,
We could try it a different way and have a truck route here sign at Parish Hill.
yeah.
Try it a different, I mean, they're not getting the don't go this way signs. Maybe they'll hear the truck route signs.
Maybe.
Well, we hope.
It's not gonna work for a 50-foot tractor trailer, but it will work for buses and whatnot.
Yeah. Seems to be
Okay,
right.
so we'll let Jay talk with them to figure out what the next steps are through them, and we'll go from there and report back. I mean, I think that's the best way to start myself. Are we all in agreement or?
Yes.
Yep.
Great.
Oh, we have from the audience?
If you don't mind, real quick question. I sit on the WRC
Thanks.
Transportation Committee,
Okay.
and we had a meeting just this afternoon, and we were invited to bring any issues that we thought maybe multiple towns might have interest in. I don't know if we're the only town dealing with this around here or not, but I'd be happy to bring it up.
That would be great.
Sure.
Great, James.
Okay. I'll do
Here.
that.
Yeah, I mean, any town with a covered bridge pretty much has this problem.
Yep. It's, even the one in Neverson has
Yeah,
some
it's
spare
not
damage.
Okay.
You know?
All feedback is appreciated, and we'll move along with that. Conversation about the boat from Stratton Hill. I was in conversation with the state trooper that took possession of said boat, and he sent me photos of said boat, but he was out on a call. I was not able to talk with him due to my injury on Friday when we were supposed to talk. I I did call and leave a message with him today, but he was going out on a call. So, I don't know how anybody feels about it, but it was a private person who called in the incident. They thought it might have been a stolen boat, but it wasn't. All identifying tags were taken off said boat, but the town did not call and have it removed. So I'm not sure that we are responsible for taking it back into custody and removing of it. But he was supposed to ask his supervisor if that was the case, if they were to keep it, but I have not heard back. So part of the discussion tonight is, what does the board feel we should do? Do we take it into custody and dispose of it ourselves? Or because we did not ask for the removal of it, leave it at the state police's hands and let them deal with it?
I'm happy to
Those
leave
are
it
the two
with the
options.
state. I'm happy to leave it with the state police, but it sounds like there's still, to close the circle, you need to end that conversation and just see what the guy says to you, right?
Right, and I told him we had a meeting tonight, but like I said, he was going out on a call when I called today. So I don't know the answer to that, but somebody said something.
Mike was starting to say something.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, does he want his boat back or he doesn't want it back?
So the issue is there was an abandoned boat on Stratton Hill Road, and a private citizen called it in, didn't know what it was about. The state police took it, thinking it might have been stolen property, but all identifying markers that could have been on said boat were removed, so they don't know who it belongs to. And now they have to get rid of it, and they want the town of Newfane to come and get it and just take care of the property. But we did not call it in as anything. It's part of not a good boat. I have pictures of it. It's not usable, so we do not really have a boat.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't think we ought to be involved in it, you know.
That's what I say.
I don't think it's the taxpayer's responsibility to dispose of a boat, but it's kind of like, is
So
it
do I have permission
the
from
broader
the
Vermont taxpayers that are paying for it? Because that's what the state police is, and that's how they're funded, or is it just us in Newfane? And I don't have answers for that. I don't think it's really our responsibility.
Is the feeling of the board that I go back to the state trooper and say that the town does not want anything to do with the boat and to please take care of it?
Yes.
Right. Yep.
Okay, I will call the trooper back.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on the boat from Stratton Hill? I'm interested to hear about more on the Green Mountain Power work up off South Wardsboro Road, because I saw a lot of trucks going up through there today with dirt.
So they've been, that was part of the plans. They were supposed to gravel it over after they got done with the trenching. And the worst part is Cushing Flats, because of basically it's built on swamp. So when they buried the line, it backfilled itself as they were going. And so they put there's a tape that they have to lay down that there's underground services there. And then the
Right.
culverts, as they replaced them, had to be a place above the tape. So they were put in very shallow. And when
Oh,
we went
no.
over it, I said, that's fine, but you've got to gravel it thick enough that we're not going to hit them with a grader. And I went up there today and it's nowhere close. So they've been very accommodating so far when I said no. And I think they'll continue.
Well,
They're
that's been a
moving,
trouble spot with every storm, so I'm
they're
concerned.
moving a pole for us that they just put in because it was one that was going to get hit by the plow. Their green boxes, some of them are way too close to the road. They're going to get snow pushed against them, but they understand that. So it'll be interesting this winter to see how it all goes. But they're trying to do all of their work within the town's right of way, and which I understand, so that stops them from having to get an easement. But it also puts things a little close in a few spots. So
Well, as long as they recognize that, I'm sure, we'll figure out how it's going to work out. Did they say anything about clearing any of the problematic trees throughout the town? Because I had
Yeah.
mentioned that when they started this project, if they were going to do that as well, and they said that it was on their list, so I didn't know if that had been mentioned.
They were working on a couple trees on Stratton Hill on that first hill today that are one of those that just keeps coming over every time it snows heavy. And so they are doing that. But that's, I think that's the only place I've seen them working lately. Although, as part of this project, they have had to cut a few trees. One on the corner of French Cabin and Cushing Flats, and one on Vic Benjamin that were problem trees. So a few good things came out of it that way. So,
Well, that's good.
yeah.
Okay, anyone else on number 5 with the Green Mountain Power?
No.
How about number 6? You got an offer on the chloride truck? That's amazing.
What, may I ask, is the chloride truck?
It's
Gross.
a free truck that we got, I don't want to say 18 years ago, maybe it was given to us. And we've put the chloride tank in the spray bar. And when you grade a road, you go along afterwards to settle the dust. So then the road packs better. And it had outlived its usefulness to us. The last thing was the brakes were going to need some pretty serious work, and it just was no longer worth us fussing with it. So be a great farm truck for somebody, just not on the road. So
What was the offer?
$500. You had one at it, right?
Correct.
It was $500, and you said it was Robert.
Yes.
Um,
I make a motion to sell it for the 500.
I would second that.
that's kind of the number I had in my head. If we could get that, I'd be happy. So
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, Mike made a motion to sell it for $500. Katie second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, abstained, ayes have it. Sold. Number 7, anything further on the gravel pit? Let's keep this pushing through, right?
And did you have anything else you wanted to mention
No,
about
I think the engineer that we've hired is excellent, really on top of the issues, has a good relationship with the woman at, which department is she, the Act 250?
um,
And Board of Natural Resources.
Stephanie Giles from
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So I think we're in really good hands with him taking us through the process and making sure that we cross all the T's and dot all the I's and present an application that has no issues. We certainly have no red flags at this point in time, nothing that has come up that is concerning. So
Great.
fingers crossed.
That's exciting.
Okay, anything further on that? If not, are we ready to approve the road foreman and commissioners report? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, abstained. I missed that last comment from Mike.
I didn't know if you went for a motion, I just did make a motion to approve it.
I made the motion.
No, we're good with the motion, we just needed to vote.
Katie and Ann made the motion and the second to approve the road foreman and commissioners report. Mike and Katie made a motion to sell the chloride truck. That was approved. The road foreman and commissioners report has been voted on and approved. Let's move along to the administrative assistance report. Good evening, Juanetta.
Good evening. 2 weeks ago, Jay provided me with the information on the damage to the Adams Hill Bridge. Sedgwick Insurance has sent an offer of settlement for the Adams Hill Bridge damage. This needs to be reviewed, and if accepted, there needs to be a motion to accept and to sign. And Meg Staloff at Brattleboro Development Credit Corporation in Sevitz is aware that the select board is not requiring a visit this year for anybody that has received appropriations in the past. She, however, is asking for an appointment so that she can provide a program update and to hear the town's needs and concerns. She's asking for an appointment on November 4th. Would this work for the board?
That's all?
That's it.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the administrative assistance report?
Make a motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jeff. Discussion. Number one, the insurance thing. Is there a motion for someone to sign, me or Jay or whoever?
What is the amount and are we happy with it? And
Wait, one at a time. Anne, go ahead.
I just wanted more details. I mean, what is the amount? What does Jay think of it? Just,
Right.
What's the background? Some details here, please.
They offered, I don't have the exact figure in front of me. It was over the 100,000 that we asked for. I think it was,
I can read it if you'd like.
I included it in your packet today. The offer is for $101,199.75. So it's almost $1,200 above what the damages incurred, but it's taken almost a year to settle.
and I don't know where they came up with the extra, but I wouldn't say no to it.
I
Okay.
certainly would agree with that. You see me in the packets you emailed or what's in the office?
No, it was in the packets that was emailed on Friday. The Sedgwick Insurance,
Okay,
And it was originally mailed to us right after our meeting last
right after
time.
that.
yeah, right after when I got the offer, it was emailed out to everybody.
I don't see any reason not to take this. We've been dealing with this for almost a year,
Mhm.
and it is time to wrap it up, and this is a great number for us to put back in our bank account.
Yep.
Agreed.
So I can sign it if you want me to, but there needs to be a motion.
I make such a
Make a
motion.
motion that Angela signs it because I think it'd be better signed by the select board than it would anybody else.
Is there a second?
Second.
I second.
Any further discussion?
I'm so glad to finally have this discussion and be done with it.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, abstain? Ayes have it. Okay, and number two, I don't see any reason why we would deny anybody to come and speak at the select board, so sure.
Yep.
I will let her know.
I would say in the future, when people are given that opportunity, that everyone is always welcome to come and speak, and we should never have to have this conversation. So
Okay.
if they want to come and talk and tell us their program, come on in. That's my feeling. I don't know how everybody else feels.
No, I
Totally
agree.
agree.
It's a public meeting.
Mhm.
So in the future, if people are told that because they've applied for special appropriations in the past, that if they still want to come in, just book them in a night and have them in. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything further for the administrative assistance report? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, abstain? Ayes have it. Thank you, Juanetta.
You're welcome.
And now to committee reports, we'll go to the Planning Commission. I see we have Jane Douglas on. We have James Bresser here. Good evening, folks. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you for having us here tonight. Jane, thank you for tuning in. We have here a draft ordinance and draft one-page registration form that we'd like to have you take a look at, provide feedback. I'm sure you remember that we presented something a little more elaborate 2-3 months ago. It was a multi-page affair. And the feedback that we received was, let's go with something simpler. So that's what we have here after some discussion, again, looking at what some other towns have done. This is really educational in nature more than anything else. We just want to find out, hopefully, how many short-term rentals there are, where they're located, who owns them, and are they in someone's house or an accessory building? And do they have maybe someone locally who manages them, just in case? We think that'd be useful to know in case there's an incident in one of these. And for owners in Washington, D.C. or somewhere else, if someone local. We're not proposing any registration fees. We think it's because it's not particularly elaborate and not a lot of information requirements. It shouldn't be hard to manage. One thing we didn't do, and we're looking to you folks, is if we move forward, who should receive the registration form? We weren't sure if it was appropriate to be the town clerk or zoning administrator or maybe somebody else. So we kind of look to you for guidance on that.
Is there, are we considering like a penalty, or are we not going to allow somebody to rent their property if they don't register with us? Is there any punitive action that we could take if they were just like, I'm not doing that, and continue to keep their property listed
I
online?
mean, it's something to consider. We discussed it and we thought for this initial effort, we wouldn't use it. We use a stick, which is a carrot instead. And so we didn't go down that route, but it is something we could add to it or add to it later.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me beneficial to have the information for, you know, if you do want to use your house as a business, then you should register it with the town. Especially if it's like a non-primary residence that you don't even live here or come here. There's plenty of people who don't even, they never come here. They just have it as an investment property and they run it as a business, and
Don't pay any taxes for it.
and don't pay business tax on it. They just pay regular residential taxes. So I would love to see something where, yeah, I don't really know how that could work though, but I think, maybe put it out there and see in 6 months if, you know, if we cross it with our rolls and we're like, well, we know there's this number of houses for rent in our town and we've only got 2 registration forms. We're gonna have to figure out something a little different, because
I mean, I keep going back to our volunteer fire department. Going to save people is what they do, but having an idea of how many people might be in a home that's a rental is probably really important information. And maybe that could be included as part of the purpose to clarify, like, this isn't, like, this is more than just gathering, this is for your safety and health, like, truly.
Okay.
Anne, Jane, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, we talked a lot about whether to have penalties. A lot of towns do have penalties if you don't register, but they're pretty minor. Brattleboro has no penalties. So what do you do when you start to cross into needing someone to be enforcing this? You know, who would we have double checking to see that people have signed up? And then if they don't sign up, going out and charging them a penalty, it starts to get a little more, we're kind of taking this as the very first, simplest step. Let's just see how it starts to work.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Anne, anything from you? I know you've been working on this too.
No, I didn't work on this one, but we discussed it at the last meeting. I definitely like this as the way to approach it, sort of. It's honest to what our needs are, which is wanting to understand how many of these properties we have in town and having some sense of what that might be and what that means sort of for planning for the future, especially as the planning commission begins to think about working on the next town plan. Having this information is really useful. The only thought I would have to add is to clarify either in the document or in a cover letter or something, the why we're doing this. And I would suggest just saying that we're doing this because we're gathering more information about our community as we get ready to start on the next town plan, that we want to understand better how our community is changing and what our needs are.
Right.
And I very much like how you have framed this. I think it's a great way to start, and I'm certainly not opposed to thinking about changes once we get some experience under our belts, changes for the future. But I think this is a great way to start.
I do appreciate Katie's comment for the Newburgh Fire Department. It is nice under the unit information, under number of bedrooms in unit, approximate number of people that will be staying at the location, because it is helpful to know how many people are in a residence in case of an emergency.
Or how many people
Otherwise,
might
I'm
be.
fine with the document. What's that, Ann?
I said how many people might be, because
Yeah, approximate.
Right.
5 to 7 or 4 to 8,
Would the number of
approximate.
bedrooms capture that?
It would, yeah, and usually it's +2 on top of that, because a lot of people put a pull out in the living room or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great start to find out what we need to as a town.
can I just ask, what is the process for this to become official? Is it just the select board approving it, or does it have to go through any kind of hearings or warnings? I honestly wasn't sure.
I don't know what
Tina?
you folks have to do, sorry.
Jane, any ideas?
I believe we have to have a public review in the planning commission, and then we vote to pass it to the select board, and then you have, because it's an ordinance, it's passed just as an ordinance would. I think there's at least one public review that you would have to have. I'd have to go back and look on the list. Kate has the list of how we implement it, so.
Okay.
Well, I think you have the majority of the select board that says that this is a good way to start. And if you go back to the planning commission and then let us know what your timelines are, and then we can fit that into our timeline.
Yeah, I think a little bit we're trying to get the bylaw modernization
Yes,
under our
that
belt
too.
and done. So short-term rentals sort of been simmering on the back burner while we try to get the bylaw modernization done.
Mhm.
So it may be not until the beginning of next year, so.
Well, it's a good start.
Yep.
Well, thank you for your feedback.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further on the planning commission's short-term rental registration? You'll come, after you talk with Kate, you'll come back to us and let us know.
Yes.
Great, thank you so much. Moving right along, if there's nothing else for that, we'll go to scheduled members of the public. We don't have any unscheduled members of the public. Anyone? None. Any new business from anyone? Old business. We'll start with housing grant proposal.
No updates at this time.
Town beautification.
No updates this time.
FEMA buyout.
We spoke with the vendor that we selected. Did we say this last time? And he will start the first week of December
Excellent.
for the demolition.
Number 4, personnel policy changes, recommendations. Have you heard anything, Katie?
I have not, no updates at this time.
Great. Town website design.
We had a meeting with the designer and we're waiting for, I think it's Katie, was it next week we were hoping to have a meeting with him? I forget exactly, but it's,
Forget as well, I'm sorry.
okay.
But we should be hearing from him shortly, and
Yes, I agree.
hopefully
I'll
before our
double
next
check.
meeting, we'll have an update for you.
Great. Okay. Any correspondence that we have, Juanetta?
We have one. It's.
Katie, would you mind reading it for us?
This is from Grace Cottage Hospital. Dear Newfane taxpayers, thank you so much for your generous appropriation of $4,000 for Grace Cottage Family Health and Hospital as approved at town meeting. Your support allows us to continue to provide the highest level of personal and professional care for our patients, many of whom are Newfane residents. We received this testimonial recently, and it sums up the unique care that we provide in so many different ways. Your donations are helping to support this type of care. There are not enough words to express how we feel about Grace Cottage and the care that my husband received. During his first ER visit, nurses were exceptional. The next day we were back, and he was admitted to the hospice family room. The caring ER staff and others made the transition easy for him. The nurses and other staff made Bob and our family feel at ease through it all. A special thank you to the doctor, whose compassion and kindness in explaining what was ahead was such a help to me. His advice helped so much. I miss my beloved husband, and I thank you so much for the care that he provided at the end of his days. Norma O'Brien, Jamaica. I wish you all the best health possible. With great appreciation, Sharma Banano, Director of Development, Marketing, and Community Relations.
I will say on top of that, my care at Grace Cottage Hospital Thursday night was above average and amazing, and very happy. So that was a great letter. Sorry for the loss of her husband, but always a good hospital to go to. We do need a motion if Jeff and Katie could do pay orders tonight, since the rest of us are not there in person. Is there a motion for them to go ahead and just go over the pay orders?
Make a
I
motion.
made such a motion.
All right. Great. You took the words right out of my mouth, Mike. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. And I believe Mike said aye. I think I heard him say aye.
Yeah, I said it. Yeah.
Great. And with that, I'd like to thank everybody for being here tonight. Yes, Anne.
Just before
Sorry.
we adjourn, I just wanted to say I will not be at the next select board meeting.
Okay, is that
Our
the
regular meeting.
Yeah, November 4th.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll be out of the country.
Lucky you. I would also like to remind everybody, tomorrow night is our first budget meeting at 6 p.m. I'm going to try and get over there in person.
Let me know, I can grab you on my way and scoop you up.
I have a ride, but unless something goes wrong, I will be there in person. So be ready. I'm hoping we do it for an hour and get through as much as we can. So online, in person, amazing. But thank you everyone for being there. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Juanetta. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, select board members. Thank you, members of the public. We appreciate you. Have a great evening and stay safe.
Good night.
Thanks,
Hi,
guys.
everyone.
Oh, wait, did we do a motion to adjourn? Let's do
I make a
that.
motion to adjourn.
Thank you. On that note, good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.